that sort of thing didn't happen. We didn't bury our kids, and the number of parents that are burying their kids. And they were talking about the behaviors and the kids being out of control. And my question to them was, where did it start? And before you can solve the problem, you have to go to the root of the problem and to find out what is causing these kids to be out of control, you know, and that's what I would like to know, you know, when, like I was telling them, when I taught kids, and Michael is one of my former students, and he'll tell you from the time they walked into my classroom until the day, and even now, they are my kids. And 24/7, I don't care. If something is going wrong, call me. They all had my phone number, but they only knew to use it if it were an emergency. But they were my kids, and if the parents weren't there, I was there for them. You know, I was going to guide them. I wasn't going to let them fall. So I want to know, where's that element now, you know, in our schools, where that love of kid and wanting kids to do well and not fail. Because in my classroom, and Mr. Pritchett, I worked under Mr. Pritchett, you know, principal, he'll tell you failure was not an option.
What do you attribute the change to?
I wish I knew.
That's a good question.
I wish I knew. And I would just, I don't know, I've been thinking, how can I help? And I was thinking, maybe if I just got a lot of kids that I taught and some other teachers that taught with me during that time, call these kids together and ask them, what was the difference? Maybe those kids can tell us, so we can go out and offer that difference to others.
Do you think that faculty nowadays is more limited in what they are permitted to do and how what would happen today if a teacher said, here's my phone number, call me anytime?
I still do that.
My wife does it as well.
Nothing happens because it's the trust factor.
Yes.
You know, it's a trust factor. And if I gave my number to a kid, that kid knows that if I'm in trouble, if I need Ms. Park for anything, I can call her and she's going to be there for me.
Yes.
You know, and it's the love that you show the kids that you have for them that generates that sort of relationship.
Right.
And the relationship was also with their parents. You know, I didn't leave their parents out. But if their parents were not there, you know, I stepped in.
So I think that whole piece that kind of answers your question. It's a very difficult question at some point, but it's relationships. And really, before you can teach a child, you must build a relationship with that child. And that's where I think successful teachers like Ms. Park and my wife, the way she works with youngsters at Glasgow High School, it's you have to build a relationship. And then you can pretty much find out on a daily basis what you can do to help them. Whether it's a home situation, this is what they really want, somebody they can really relate to and talk with them. Before you even get into talking about their attitudes, you have to break them down. And I think that's one of the things now, it's patience. It's not always, let's get the work done. You might have to do something a little different to get them turned on to what's going on in your classroom. And as you know, Betty just mentioned, you know, giving out your number or saying, look, I'm going to come and talk with you, or I'm going to drive by your house, I want to really sit down and talk with you. It makes a difference. And a lot of times they'll change, but they just need somebody that will listen to them rather than to take them to the office or to just keep getting them an F all the time. They need to know that, first of all, they can do the work. It's just the fact of us breaking down what your concerns are, what motivates you. And once I build that relationship, I know that. Then I can tell other staff members, this is how you work
with this child.
Yes. And I think that's the formula that we have to go back to. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of the youngsters. They just don't feel a part of the school.
Don't feel connected.
No, they don't, you know.
Well, I'm sorry we have to cut it there, but I do want to thank you both for joining us. Doc Pritchett, we can always pick up on this topic in your segments.
Absolutely.
Always. And Ms. Park, thank you so much for joining
Well,
us.
thank
and
you.
we expect to have you back on May. Sometimes I do my scheduling on air just to kill two birds with one stone. So I will
Okay.
follow up with you and make sure that we have a group of people here in May to sing,
Most
and
definitely.
then we can promote the 30th anniversary of the Hildeman Chorale.
Well, thank you very much.
Very welcome. Please continue to watch. We'll have more for you on In the Upper Room Outreach Ministries, The Monitor.